How's it going, guys? Adam here from A.to.Z.bodyfitness, and today I'm going to explain to you how to do shoulders and back, and also show you a shoulder and back routine that you can do from the comfort of your own home. Okay, so first things first, before we actually get into it, one thing you need to know is, like I've also said in some of my other videos and how I actually work out myself, you always want to make sure that you're properly engaging the muscle. So you're creating a good mind to muscle connection. And what that means is focusing on that muscle and contracting it as much as possible, okay? And then the other thing is you want to control your tempo, so the speed of it. You don't want to just go fast. You want to keep your body controlled. You want to make sure that you're seated or situated in a good position, and that you're not, flaying your body around with whatever exercise you want to do. You're not flaying around with whatever exercise you're doing. You want to make sure that you're in a proper position. You just want to make sure that your form is good and that your technique is good as well. So the way it's going to work for this video, as I've done in a few of my other videos, so the first 4 reps are going to be a tempo of 4 seconds, okay? And I'm going to explain every exercise in the video so you know how to properly do it, because I want to make sure that you're getting the technique down 100% so that you're performing it correctly, because I'm obviously not there with you. So I want to make sure that you're doing it as best as possible by me explaining it the best to my ability through this video. So we're going to have the first 4 reps go slower with a tempo of 4 and 4, and then we're going to go for 15 reps plus. Now, as I've said in my other videos, I always do 15 plus reps. More repetitions creates more muscle tearing and more muscle growth over time, provided that your form and your mind to muscle connection and that your technique is good. So I always preach to do more repetitions if you can do it. If you can't do it, or if it's too much for you, do 12 reps. That's still okay. You're still going to get muscle growth. You're still going to get tearing. You want to push yourself to whatever your threshold is, to whatever you can do, right? You don't want to do something that's too much for you, that's no problem. Just if you can only do 10 or 12, then do that. So as for the sets, we're going to keep it nice and basic and simple. We're just going to be doing 3 sets per exercise. And the way it's going to work is we're going to do a shoulder exercise and then a back exercise. All right, so the way it's going to work is as the exercises are going on, I'm just going to be talking over just to show you and explain how it should properly be done, so that you have a better idea of how you can perform these exercises when you do it yourself. All right, guys, let's get to it.
All right, so for the first exercise, which is a lateral raise, again, you want to go slow on the first 4 reps, 4 seconds up, and then you want to go 4 seconds down. Nicely controlled, like I'm showing you in the video. You want to make sure you're bringing your chest out when you're bringing the weights up, and then compress it and relax it when you're going back down. Bend the elbows slightly, keep the wrist slightly bent, and think about going up and out, okay? Just use your shoulders. You don't want to engage your traps. You want to just engage the muscle that we're trying to use, which is your shoulders. And just remember to go up and out to help you remember to be able to keep the form technique as close to it as possible. Okay, so for our bent over row, nice and easy and slow. Make sure when you bring it up, you're counting 4 seconds and you're going slow when you're going down. You want to keep your back straight, but when you bring the weight up, you want to keep your arm at roughly a 90-degree angle. The top head of the weight should come near the top part of your thigh, of your quad, and you want to squeeze and contract by bringing your chest out when you bring the weight up, and then relaxing it as you bring it back down. You want to imagine that you're trying to squeeze a penny or a quarter in between your shoulder blades as you're doing this exercise to really contract the back muscles as much as possible. Alright, so we have a double arm front shoulder raise, and similar to the other shoulder raise exercise, the lateral raise, you want to bring out your chest when you raise both arms up, keep the elbows slightly bent, and then keep your back straight. And as you bring the weight down, you want to decompress and relax your chest as well. The reason why you want to bring out your chest and you want to keep your back straight is because it allows you to be able to bring your shoulders up and out more as you're doing it, and to be able to engage them just a little bit better. All these things, when you do them in unison, they really do help your form in the long run and allow you to keep your technique as smooth and as crisp as possible. Okay, so now we have an underhand close bent over row. So similar to our other back exercise, you want to make sure you're bringing it up slow and releasing it slow, and also keep the dumbbell close to your thigh as you're doing it. Make sure you're trying to row back and up, okay? Any type of row that you're doing, you want to keep it back and up, all right? And you want to basically bring it close to your thigh, and you want to squeeze your shoulder blades together as you're doing it, control it all the way through, and think about pulling with your lats, not with your arm. The idea is to pull with your lats and engage with your back when you're doing a type of row exercise. All right, so for our next shoulder exercise, we got a double underhand shoulder raise. So when you bring them up, again, bring out the chest, but you're going to slightly bend the elbows and keep the wrists upwards as you're doing it. Now with this shoulder raise, you want to bring the weights closer together as you bring it up, and you want to also squeeze your chest together, because if you do that, it's going to help you engage your shoulders that much more. Again, keep your back straight. Think of going out and up, extend outwards. Don't engage your traps, keep them disengaged, okay? We don't want them to help because it takes away from doing the exercise, and just move slow and controlled, and you'll feel the movement of the shoulder. So, band, wall, lat, pull down. Now, when you do this and you go up against the wall, you want to put your right or your left knee right up against the baseboard. Put your other knee a little bit farther back to give you more of a staggered balance. And as you pull the band down towards your chest, you're going to arch backwards, which will allow you to be able to squeeze your upper back together. And you're going to use the same method again as picturing a penny or a quarter in between your shoulder blades. As you pull down, you're trying to break it and squeeze it between your shoulder blades. So that will allow you to really contract the muscles as best as possible as you're doing this exercise. Also keep the forearms right up against the wall, which will help give you a better guide as to where your arms should be positioned when doing this exercise. All right, and now we have the front raise to lateral raise with the band. So just like our other shoulder exercises, you're going to bring it up slow, bring it down slow. But when you transition from the front shoulder raise to the lateral raise, you want to keep your elbows pointed out away from you and just bring it straight across. It's going to be a little bit harder not to engage your traps on this one just because of where your arms are positioned, and because it's going to obviously burn a lot as you do the exercise. But you just want to remember to disengage them as much as possible and just stick to the form of keeping your chest out, keep your back straight, elbows back out, slightly bent wrists, okay? And keep the traps disengaged, and just focus on going up and out with the shoulders. This one might take a little bit longer to get used to, and you might have to take a break in between some of the reps just because it is later on in the exercise, and this will fire up the shoulders quite a bit, but that's okay. Do what you have to do as long as you make sure you're getting your form right, as long as you're keeping your balance and you're keeping your position as best as possible, and that's all that matters. As long as you have to take a few breaks, it's no problem. As long as we're keeping the form as crisp as possible, that's all that matters. All right, and our last exercise is a seated banded row. It's actually one of my favorites. I like to do this a lot, especially now that I've been working at home a lot more. When you're doing a seated row, you want to imagine that you're pulling down and back while keeping your chest out when you're pulling back, and squeezing your shoulder blades together. When it comes to your back, you always want to squeeze your shoulder blades together and flare out your elbows a little bit, because that's going to allow you to engage the upper back a lot better and be able to squeeze and contract the muscles as much as possible. And just make sure to keep your form and really stabilize your hips and your lower back to allow you to engage your upper back as much as possible while keeping your traps disengaged.
Alright guys, that's the end of this video. Remember, if you can't do 4 slow reps in the beginning, do 3, do 2. If you can't do 4 seconds of each slow rep, do 3 seconds, do 2 seconds. Modify to what you can handle. Only you know what your actual threshold is and what you can push. If you think you can do the whole thing, give it a shot. Halfway through, if you have to reduce the amount of seconds for each slow rep or reduce the slow reps, that's fine too. Just make it work to what you can handle and then go from there. All right, guys, if you liked what you saw, comment down below, like, subscribe, and share. Download my free playbook, as I've been saying in every video, just because it's going to help you as well. A lot of good information in there. And I'll see you guys in the next video.